Long story short, predators came to Earth, gave us civilization in exchange for sacrificial victims, used those victims to make aliens, which they then hunted for glory. When their hunting trips went south, those ancient rednecks decided to blow that civilization up real good.
Okay, not to nitpick.
Seriously, what were the predators planning on doing when they came down here? They were preparing for a hunt, but you got the impression that they weren't expecting a bunch of silly humans to go in there and mess with their stuff. But without the humans, there wouldn't be any aliens to hunt. Were they planning to zip on down to the great American Midwest to make a few crop circles and pick up some human bait, then just forgot? Anyway, learning this, Alex decides that to avoid letting the aliens out to terrorize, Antarctica, they'll have to try and make friends with the Predator. Well, Exposition Man's purpose now fulfilled, he's dragged off by an alien. Meanwhile, Gunther is woken up and is preparing to return to the hunt.
So I guess the alien is going to burst out of his chest, and Alex is going to have to face the resulting Pred-alien, as well as all the other aliens in the temple, on her own. That's going to be pretty intense.
Except for some reason, this xenomorph must have seen Alien, and has decided to take its own sweet time. Instead, Gunther catches up to Alex, and as she gives him his gun back, an alien attacks. She gets in a lucky shot, and Gunther decides she's got some chops, so he lets her tag along.
Isn't Gunther teaming up with Alex pretty much like a redneck hunter teaming up with a rabbit to fight a bear?
Anyway, Gunther and Alex make their way to an egg chamber while the aliens work to melt their queen's chains. They set up a time bomb, the queen gets free, and both head for the exit.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but I just remembered. Everyone dies except for Alex. Okay, moving on.
After a confrontation with some regular aliens at the mouth of the tunnel, they get to the surface, just escaping the explosion. They share what would have been a moment if they had a better director. This is soon interrupted by the alien queen. They fight for a bit, Alex ties the bitch to a falling water tower, and Gunther is then mortally wounded as she is dragged off a cliff into the icy water. Does anybody else think this was a bad plan? What's stopping the queen from laying eggs underwater? What kind of horrors do you think are going to start popping up when those facehuggers manage to latch onto a shark or a whale? I don't think the world is ready for 2-ton aquatic xenomorphs. Well, Uncle Bucephus shows up with the rest of the clan, gives Alex Gunther's spear, and then heads off, leaving Alex to contemplate the stars. In Antarctica. At night. In a sweater.
Yeah, this movie did kind of forget Antarctica's one defining characteristic. It's friggin' cold. Half these characters weren't even wearing hats.
And the movie finally ends, with Gunther laid out in a place of honor. At which point the little Pred-alien finally remembers to show up, shrieking its demands for a sequel. And suddenly you realize that this jackass knew he was carrying a chestburster, and failed to warn his clan of this fact in any fashion, dooming them all. That in turn reminds you that he killed a bunch of people, including all of Alex's new friends, and badly established faux father figure Wayland, in the name of a stupid goddamn hunting trip. And you remember that you have no sympathy for this ugly motherfucker.
So that covers the story. Earlier I said that this film was more mediocre than strictly bad, and despite tearing away at the film for the entire review, I still stand by that.
The thing is, I've actually found that I like a lot of Anderson's films. AVP, the first Resident Evil, Death Race, all films I've enjoyed, none of which I'd call good. His stories are oversimplified and often have convenient holes that keep things simple. His characters are usually pretty bland, but that prevents them from being noticeably annoying. He makes films I can safely turn off my brain during, and I can appreciate that. I can easily see someone disagreeing with me on this, but he seems to make movies that are bad in ways that stay just within my tolerance levels.
However, as a fan of both the Alien and the Predator movies, I even have a soft spot for Aliens 3 and 4, I can't really say anything nice about this film.
Anderson was pretty much exactly the wrong director for an Alien vs. Predator movie. Alien and its sequels presented a story featuring perfect killing machines, made all the more horrific by the fact that if they don't kill you right away, you can look forward to an unimaginably awful, violating death later. Predator featured aliens that didn't seek to destroy our species, or usurp us, or control us, or exploit us, but to hunt us, with no more regard for our lives than we have for pigs. Both had extreme violence and an intensity befitting the situations. Alien is wasabi, almost unbearably sharp. Predator is a smoky, slow-simmered barbecue sauce, rich and exciting. Anderson is mayonnaise. Satisfying and functional on a lot of things, but you wouldn't put it on sushi or prime rib.
This is a common problem amongst the fat. We try to be poetic, but we just end up making ourselves hungry.
But yeah, Anderson tried to make this too marketable, too safe, and in so doing lost the interest of the most loyal audience. Here's a line that pretty well sums up the problems with this movie.
You are one ugly mother.
It's a cheap callback, and one he was too chicken shit to do properly. No wonder it took 3 years for a sequel to be made, and no wonder it stank. It had people trying to compensate for AVP's weak acting by being overdramatic. It tried to compensate for AVP's lack of gore by having an alien rape an entire maternity ward. Somehow that scene was so over the top and desperate that it actually made me chuckle.
So yeah, that's Alien vs. Predator. I managed to enjoy this film on its own, but I'm still holding out for a good Alien Predator movie. Maybe when they get RoboCop involved, we can finally get this party started. Well, this has been Victor with The Junkyard. Thanks for watching.
And isn't this just the most adorably gay little poster you've ever seen? Wow.